Children, today we are going to deal with Chapter 18, Waste Generation and Management, Methods of Safe Disposal of Waste. Now, the progress in the field of invention and a number of technological innovations have raised our living standards. With the rise in our living standards and the increase in comfort, we are depleting the natural resources by over-exploitation. This has led to an increase in waste products. We cannot get rid of it completely because it always remains in the environment. For millions of years, the nature has recycled waste materials. But now, the environment is threatened by our activities as the use of non-biodegradable waste are increasing day by day. So, there is an urgent need of management of waste as waste causes pollution, which in turn causes damage to the environment. So, the source of waste, its composition, texture and nature differs from place to place. The form of waste may be of solid, liquid and gaseous. So, the methods of disposal of waste of such materials differs depending upon the type of waste. Now, the collection of waste, the waste must be collected in an organized way. It should be collected in covered trucks, vans, rickshaws. Day-to-day collection should be made. Building materials such as debris, demolition of waste must be done separately. Now, segregation, there are different methods of disposal of waste. There are segregation, then storing waste, transfer and transportation of waste, dumping and landfills, composting. So, let us deal with segregation. Now, the waste management. In waste management, segregation is an important step. The waste can be classified into biodegradable and non-biodegradable and toxic waste. So, one of the easiest way to segregate waste is to put the waste into 3 different colored dustbins. Green colored dustbins are meant for recyclable materials. For example, domestic waste, which consists of peels, remains of fruits, vegetables, unused and leftover food articles, paper, leaflets, cardboard, etc., which are biodegradable. Blue colored dustbins are meant for non-biodegradable wastes. So, all the non-biodegradable wastes can be collected in these dustbins. For example, plastics, glass, polythene, metals, etc. So, they can be collected from houses, schools, offices, shopping areas. Red colored dustbins are meant for collecting the waste which are infectious in nature, such as medical waste, pathological waste, surgery waste. The dustbins are to be placed in hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, where these kinds of waste can be disposed of easily so that they do not contaminate or cause infectious diseases. So, if the waste is put in proper dustbins, its disposal becomes very easy. Each household should segregate domestic waste into different dustbins. People of urban areas also should take collective efforts for safe disposal of domestic waste. Next comes storing waste. Storage facilities must be kept in mind according to the quantity of waste generated and in the vicinity of the residents or users. Vicinity means in the closeness, nearness of the residents or users. The collection of bins must be covered so that they are not exposed to atmosphere or any cattle. The storage bins must be designed that handling and transferring of waste into vans or trucks can be done properly. Manual handling of waste must be avoided so as to prevent people from exposure to dreadful diseases and infections. Transfer and transportation of waste. Vehicles used for transportation should be specially designed for waste collection. It should be covered so that they may not litter on the roads. They may not pollute the environment also. The network of collection should be consistent and well planned. The bins must be emptied every day to prevent overflowing. Next comes dumping. Dumping and landfills are same. So what are landfills? Landfills are large area on the outskirts, the outside of the cities, where the waste is disposed on or in ground and covered with earth. So dumping is a method of disposal of waste on an open land or at landfill sites far away from the city. Dumping on open low land is not eco-friendly, but it is the cheapest method. This area can be breeding ground for mosquitoes, flies, insects, etc. That they are the carriers of harmful diseases. Not only can rainwater carry harmful substances to the nearby streams, ponds, it can pollute the groundwater too. Among different methods of disposal of waste, landfill is the most commonly used method. It is cost effective also. A method of waste disposal on land without destroying the environment or creating nuisance or health hazards to the residents, but using principles of technology and to keep the volume of refuse to the minimum is called landfilling. To prevent insects or rodents from entering into the landfills, the dumping area is covered with layers of earth. The waste gets decomposed by physical, chemical and biological reactions, producing different gases like carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. The precautions while choosing the area of the sites for landfill is to minimize the cost of transportation. Landfill should be located centrally to the waste generation sites. Landfill area should be sufficiently deep to the surroundings as it can work for a longer period and hold huge quantities of waste. Where rainfall and strong wind is minimum, that area is suitable for landfill. Composting is a waste disposal technique where the biodegradable waste is decomposed by microbes and the waste is converted into manure or fertilizer. Heaps of leaves, grass, sewage, sludge, food waste and biodegradable house waste converts into compost, which forms topsoil capable of giving good crops. Compost is produced by the action of microbes on the organic matter. Microbes degrade carbonic material into simpler substances in moist, warm and aerobic environment. Compost can be prepared in two ways: aerobic composting and anaerobic composting. Aerobic composting takes place when the waste requires mixing and aeration to create conditions for decomposition. If sufficient aeration is not available, then it gives out bad odor. Anaerobic composting. The decomposable waste is converted into soil conditioners and the material obtained does not produce bad odors and can be added to land to enhance the soil quality. Anaerobic composting processes receives greater attention because they do not require aeration or mixing. They are free from bad odor, produce biogas as byproduct. Biogas consists of 55% of methane, 45% of carbon dioxide, and this gas may be utilized for heating, cooking, etc. The types of microorganisms that help in the process of composting: bacteria, fungi, actinomycetes. Fungi starts working in the first week of dumping. Actinomycetes helps in the last stage of the breakdown, while bacteria works throughout the process. Advantages of composting: it enhances water retention capacity of the soil and need for irrigation is reduced. It reduces plant diseases. It increases soil fertility. It develops prevention pollution. It checks soil erosion and silting. Less use of fertilizers and pesticides reduces cost. Next is vermicomposting. The decomposition of organic waste by earthworms is called vermicomposting. Earthworms play the role of an aerator, mixer, degrader, and stimulator. So, earthworm is known as the farmer's friend. Next is incineration. Children, in content analysis and brief, incineration is mentioned. Here it is written, it is a method of disposal of waste. So, what is actually incineration? It is a method of solid waste disposal. Its reduction in weight and volume. The method is called incineration. So, modern machines called incinerator, they burn the waste and reduce it by 90% in weight and volume. They are mainly used by industries and municipalities. So, its advantages are: it kills pathogenic organisms and reduces the volume. Disposal from petroleum, plastic and chemical industries is useful in incineration process. It is a useful technology to deal with organic waste that have high calorific value. The limitations of incinerators are: they are quite expensive. Limitations and disadvantages are same. So, they are quite expensive, they have high maintenance, they require high maintenance, and incinerators consume significant amount of energy to achieve high temperature. Next is scrubber. Scrubber is a device to catch pollutants during the emissions by spraying of water. So, the pollutants can be removed by spraying of wet lime powder into the hot exhaust chamber. It uses lime to neutralize acid gases. Acid gases can be removed by dry scrubber. And the advantage of this method is that it reduces explosion risk. The disadvantage of scrubber is that the particulate matter does not settle easily. it is difficult to manage the wet sludge. Next is electrostatic precipitator. In the fourth point of content analysis in brief, effluents from industries are treated by ESPS or electrostatic precipitation. What does it mean? It is a device to control air pollution. The carbon particles, dust particles or any other particles are removed by this process. These particles are in the form of colloidal particles and carry a charge. When these particles come in contact with oppositely charged pole, they lose their charge and settle down at the bottom of the chimney and can be collected easily. Electrostatic precipitators are used in power generation industry, cement plant industry, paper mills, petrochemical industries and meteorological industries. The advantages of electrostatic precipitators are economical to operate. It provides high efficiency up to 99%. It does not produce a moisture plume. Limitations are it does not work with moist flows, mist or sticky particles. It must be heated during startup and shut down to avoid corrosion from acid condensation. It is expensive to set up.